Hello, Patrick here from Have Cheetah Will View and Eight Questions with. Yeah, you're seeing your eyes are not deceiving you. We are up on a Friday. We weren't up yesterday, and so we are up today. So that's the way things happen sometimes. Our guest, we'll have to reschedule our guest for yesterday. That happens. Sometimes jobs come up and people have to work their jobs, so we have to let them go. And hopefully we get to reschedule. But tonight we're here. We'll be talking to actress Sadie Katz in about 15 minutes. This is gonna be a fun show. As you know, Sadie is one of the hardest working actresses in the indie horror world. Um, she's very much in demand. Anybody has a movie they want to add some serious cachet, has fans, that you tell people that hey, my movie has I cast a Sadie Katz in it. It's going to instantly grab attention, um, and because Sadie has that kind of she has that kind of name. She's known for being fearless. She'll play in just about any role and do it excellently. She has played in several great films already. Some of you guys not remember her from Wrong Turn 6, of course, but she has a whole new slew of movies coming up, and I do mean a slew. She has a brand new movie out called 8 Days to Hell that we'll be talking about. She also has a movie called Shelter in Place that we'll be talking about too. Since we haven't talked to Sadie, we haven't talked to her for over a year. Um, so that is gonna be fun to talk to her about. Um, and see what she's been doing in that year. She's been busy, that's for sure. Um, so we'll talk to Sadie about how she's been staying busy, um, how she maintains her schedule without going crazy because she's always working. And so yeah, aloha, Al, aloha. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. This is gonna be a fun show, for sure. Like I said, we had Sadie. Sadie was the very first guest we ever booked on the Midnight Hour, and she also started her podcast, Partial Nudity. We'll be talking to her about that because I personally used to watch that show. In fact, I still have it I still have a couple of shows on my playlist. I thought she was a natural as a podcaster. She's definitely got the voice for it, and I was really hoping that she'd come back to it, but she says, "Well, I leave that to the professionals. Leave that to the." Uh, Sadie, you were a professional. um, that show was a lot of fun to listen to. She got some really interesting guests. She wasn't afraid to ask questions of those guests. Hey, Star Lord, how are you? Glad you're here. Hopefully, you'll enjoy our guest, Sadie, Sadie Katz. She's rocks. I absolutely adore Sadie. So like I said, she's got a whole new slew of movies that we'll be talking about. She played the president in Shelter in Place, so we'll ask her about what was it like being president. Um, and again, she's got the brand new movie coming out called 8 Days to Hell that will be definitely be talking to her about as well. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Bones. Greetings, greetings. Those who can share us out, like Mr. Bones, feel free to do so if you'd like to. So yeah, I will go over the calendar real quick because we got some news. Got a couple of changes here. Got a couple of changes. Um, so tomorrow we were supposed to have a scheduled an actress named Victoria Brandhart here tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I got to be honest with you, this might get me a little bit of hot water, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Um, I don't mind booking. Sometimes the publicists will come to me and they'll sit there and say, "Hey, can you?" Especially at the last minute. This is what I really love about this. They always come at the last minute, like with a week. Like, "Hey, can you help us out? Like in a week?" I'm like, sure. What do you need? Can you book this guest? Sure. Okay. No problem. Here's his spot. Here's what I said. Here's his spot. So go ahead. Here's the information right here. Day and a half later. Well, he can't do it, but we can get you somebody else. Okay. Uh, can you do it? Sure. I'll do it for you. Okay. Here's who he is. Here's her name. Okay. Okay. So now I'm booked. Now I booked the show. Okay. So I got 30 minutes on a Saturday afternoon, last minute, no problem. Helping you guys out here. Um, go ahead. All of a sudden, I get an email saying, she can't do it. She can't do it at the afternoon. She could do it later on that night. Can you do it? Can you help us? And I'm going like, no, I can't. No. I made room. I worked hard. I created the 3 o'clock spot. I started promoting the show. I started promoting your artist. That's the spot. So I hope that you honor that. Now, I just said that I understand work comes up. I get that, but this isn't necessarily work. I don't believe. So I was a little frosted. I'm going like, no, I can't change it. Now, could I have? Honestly, sure, I could have changed it. I could have moved it down to Saturday night. I could have did that, but I don't like jumping through anybody's hoop like that. I didn't appreciate it. I don't. I think it's very disrespectful, and I thought it was rude. On top of that, it's like you asked me. I didn't come to you. You came to me twice. I wanted a spot for me to interview your guest with 2 different artists, and then you're going to remove them. So I think going forward, I don't think I'll be taking this person's email. Definitely not. I like to deal and work with professionals, people who are courteous and to understand what the word commitment means. I don't think she would have liked it very much if I would have came to her literally at the last minute and said, "Oh, by the way, I can't do the show." Uh, so our guest for tomorrow didn't happen, won't happen, but I had to get that off my chest because it fried my ass a little bit. And that's one thing. That's one thing. That's what I really do. I really like working with professional people like Sadie and the other guests that we've had on here. I do get it. Like our guest yesterday, Devaney Pin. I totally understand. She had she got asked to go down to work the Oscars, and so hell yeah, who wouldn't do that, right? If they called me in the Cheetah, we'd be on the first thing on fire out to the coast. So that's one thing. But coming up to me at the last minute saying, "Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you?" I'm not a dog. I don't jump through hoops. Um. So anyway, so Sunday night we're back on our channel here. Um. Why haven't had Al Lucard on 8 questions? Well, both. Well, why haven't I have you on 8 questions? Maybe I should be having you on 8 questions. I know you. I've known you longer. Maybe you should come up here and sit in the seat. Would you like that? I can invite you up. You can come up and do 8 questions with me. Answer some questions. What do you say, guys? Should I go ahead and invite Mr. Bones to come up and answer some questions? That's right. That's right. See, I just got you right there, Bones. I just got you right there. Oh, that's not true. I think Bones. Wait a minute. You're selling yourself short here, my friend. You would be very. You know what? You'd be very fun to talk to. You'd be very fun to talk to. No doubt, huh, Al? Right? Yeah. You know what? You just earned yourself a spot in May, Bones. You just earned yourself a spot because I'm going to be doing an all community theme in May, and I'm going to be interviewing people from the community, and you're going to be my first person. Yep, Mr. Bones, going to be the guest on. Yep, I got you. I I got you. You're gonna be a guest, and then I should have Al come up to help me ask you questions. That might be the work. It might be the Midnight Society. Invites Mr. Bones up. I think that could happen. But those who are hearing me, um, oh no, don't be saying it like that. It's too late now. You walked into it. I'm taking your suggestion, my friend. Uh, so I will tell you the rest of the calendar. Uh, so on the 27th, I'll be here with me and Al, and I do believe Cal Daly will be joining us on the 27th for Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Whew, man, that's gonna be pretty awesome. Um, and then the 28th, next Monday. So I crammed the last week full of guests for the last week in Women in Horror Month. So I have Laura Talayan will be here. She's in a new movie called Ditched, which I watched, and let me tell you something. Wow, that movie is bonkers, bonkers with a capital B. Uh, yeah, that's some crazy shit. So we'll be talking to her about her role in Ditched on the 29th. On the 29th, speaking of guests, I'll be joined by Karen from Ocean Chick Films in the Final Girls of Horror, and she is going with me over to Britain as we're interviewing Kelly Goody at 2 o'clock. And then I'll be back that night here, back on the channel, to talk to Monique Candelaria at 8 p.m. Let's see, on Wednesday, and this is another example of work comes up. Our guest for Wednesday actually had to go do pickups, so she couldn't do it. She had to fly out to location and do 3 days of pickups. Pickups is a film term of where they film a movie and then they need some extra shots to fill it out the movie to fit the editing or whatnot. So they'll just grab the actors and a director to keep. Sometimes the director just grab a camera himself, and they go out there and they add footage. It all depends what you define what a celebrity is. I think you're a celebrity, Bones. I definitely think you're a celebrity. Yeah, yeah. Besides, anybody in the community, anybody you talk to, I mean, you know, you know the show, Bones. We talk to anybody. You don't have to be a celebrity. You could just be anybody. That's what's so awesome about doing a show like this. All right, so we're going to be having Nicole Vegas is going to come in and hang out with us on March 30th, and looking forward to that. She's a really cool lady. I really like her a lot. She's she's just getting started in the business, and she's sensational, and she's a very she's a former she served in the military. Her and her husband they do a lot of charity work in Las Vegas. They work with a lot of veterans. So I'm really happy to have her on the show. She's a really cool lady, and I'm really glad she agreed to do it. And then next Thursday, the 31st, we end Women in Horror Month with actress photographer Holly Lynch, and she will be here on March 31st. Are we? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, 500. I know, right, Al? You're ripping it up tonight. You're shredding it. You're right. I mean, look at Bones. You got 500. You got over 500 people following you. You don't think you're not a celebrity? No, that's not even true. No, I don't. No, no, there's no. You'll be perfect. Hey, let's put it this way, Mr. Bones. I've interviewed Casey and I've interviewed Hobbs. So, okay. So I got to have you come up here too. And I interviewed Jennifer. So you got to come up. I got to get all the Midnight Hour crew on here. See, Star-Lord, there's only one of you. One of anybody. Yeah. Yeah. See? That's yeah. I don't have an iPhone. I have like I wish I had an iPhone. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I won't be booking May until for like another couple of weeks. But I will be booking it, and that is a true. I am doing that in May. You guys are hearing this first. I will be going around and finding community members to talk to, and that will be our month of May. There won't be any. There won't be any actors or producers or directors or anything like that. Um, there will be. There will be nothing but community members in May. All right, so April 1st, we have horror legend Bill Obrist Jr. here will be with us. Yeah, if you guys have watched any sort of horror movies, especially independent horror movies, chances are you've seen Bill Obrist do something or another. He's been in so many movies. He's been over. He's got, well, by the time I'm get done speaking, he'll have over 200 credits that he has. He has won a daytime Emmy. He's won several theater awards as much as acting awards for his horror work. He appeared on Criminal Minds on CBS, where he gained infamy as being one of the few people that the show's main characters, the FBI team, never caught. He was a serial killer that they never caught. And he's also on. He's also did Three from Hell with Rob Zombie. So we will be talking to Bill Obrist. And what's really cool about Bill, he's in touch with himself, his inner self. We're gonna go places that we don't go to on this show, and I hope that you guys will all come along for the ride. Now, help us give me a round of applause for our guest, Miss Sadie Katz. There she is.
Here we go.
You're in here.
I'm here. You're here. Hi.
Yay. Hey, Sadie. Wow, you're looking glamorous as always.
Oh gosh, thank you. You know, I already told you I'm pregnant, so I'm waiting for this glow I'm promised. Where is my glow?
So you guys all hear that first. The lovely Sadie Katz is now pregnant, and you are now my second pregnant mom I've talked to.
Really? How far along was the other mom?
I think if she moved the wrong way, she would have popped.
Oh God.
It was Augie.
Bless her, and she still came on.
Yeah, it was Augie Duke, and yeah, and Augie. I told her too, Sadie. I said, listen, if for any reason, if you don't want to do the show, I totally understand it. And then she said, no, I really want to come on the show. I said, okay. Then if there's any reason why, you need to go, just say, I gotta go. And then I'll be fine.
Her? Is she the funniest human?
She is so cute. I met so many, thanks to Thomas Churchill, I have met so many wonderful people. I got to meet you. I got to meet Augie. I got to meet Augie Duke. Right. And I got to meet Alexis Acano.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Churchill's a nice guy. Like he's a good director and he's sweet. So he does work with like really nice, nice actresses. And Augie's like not only is she nice, she's really talented. Unfortunately, I'm always annoyed because she's very talented and very nice and very funny.
She is. Yeah. She is. Yeah. But so are you though.
Well, thank you. I try my damnedest, right?
I was telling the chat here. I was saying how you started partial nudity, and I watched that podcast every episode you're on. And I'm like, okay. And then it dropped off, and we're like, okay, well, I understand that was going to happen because you had to go to work. You have to shoot movies. Right. But then I would start seeing on social media, I'm going like, okay, she must be done. so where's the podcast? And then I asked you, and then you said, I'm going to leave that to the professionals. But Sadie, you are awesome.
Oh, Patrick, you know what's funny though is thank you for saying that. Is the one thing that I realized is YouTube like deplatformed me on any subject that was like racy. They like before I was even monetized, they're like, you're not going to be monetized on this show. And I just I think of you as like a pro because like that's like your main thing, right? So I kind of felt like I was enjoying it, but I was like, gosh, it's such an uphill battle. And I have to tell you, I'm not someone who quits things easily. So I
No,
never quit anything. And this was like something where I was really excited about it. And then, I'm like, are you kidding me? I I also felt like I couldn't talk about the subjects I wanted to talk about because we're in such a like how do I say this? We're in such a time where like any opinions could get you in trouble. And I was kind of like walking that line of going, am I going to end up saying things that come back and get me canceled? And I kind of wanted to step away from it until that energy went away. Does that make sense?
it makes total sense. It does. I don't know if I'll get monetized or not. I mean, I'm a way away from worrying about that.
Right.
But I don't really care about being monetized. I mean, I don't ask for anything for support my channel. Like a lot of the YouTubers out there, they're doing memberships, they're doing Patreon, they're doing this, they're doing. I don't do any of that. I just want to talk. I just want to just sit here and just like communicate and have a fun time. Get some people on here I really respect and I really admire, and get
Yeah.
them on here and talk. I mean, that's what it's all about for me. If someone sees it or hears it and wants to and approaches me and says, "Hey, you want to do something different, or or we want to help out or whatnot," then I'll listen to it. But I loved your show. I do. I think
Oh,
I loved
thank
it. I
you.
thought you were so much fun.
Thank you. I started off where I kind of wanted to talk about politics and current events. And then I was like, okay, sexual stuff kind of goes along with that, which is fun. So I was just a little bit like thrown um, on where my show had gone. And I actually had this show that I thought was really funny. And it just didn't I was taking it more personal than I do like bad reviews or a movie. I was like, really? I just did all this work on the show and it only got this many views. I think I was a little spoiled in the idea of how hard it is to generate and keep your audience for a
Yeah,
podcast. So that's why I didn't feel like a pro because I felt like I was not coming at it with like a very humble attitude.
though, but it's not really necessarily your fault because it's easy to get discouraged by YouTube. I mean, if you look at it now, like I'm looking at it now, it says that there's 5 people watching us. Now, normally you would sit there and
Right.
say, "Oh my God, that's terrible." But I also know too that there's like YouTube sucks in this manner. I know there's more people watching us than just 5,
Right.
but because they haven't signed into YouTube and they don't have an account, they don't my views don't count, our views don't count.
Right.
So and if I put this show, if I broadcast it, come over off of Facebook or from Instagram or from LinkedIn,
Right.
anybody that comes over to the show from those platforms,
Yeah.
YouTube will not count those views. So
That's
it looks
interesting.
bad. It looks bad on the outside, but overall, I know it's not. I know there's a lot of people watching me.
Right.
So, but
And
yeah,
on
it is.
StreamYard, don't you have your own views on StreamYard and that doesn't factor in, right? Is Stream
Um, StreamYard, we're trying to figure that out. I know that you want to have everybody to stay on your stream as long as possible. A
right?
lot of times, people like when people come in a room and then they leave, they're not really, like I'm here to show support, and then they bail. You're
Yeah.
not really doing that because they don't really count that. They want the person to stay at least for 15 minutes for
Oh,
the
is
views. Yeah.
which is a long time in this day and age. I have to include this monster.
Oh my.
This is
Oh.
Buffy. Buffy is the best and the worst dog ever. Look at that.
Now, how long? Now, did you have your dog the last time we talked?
I was trying to remember when that was, but don't you feel like COVID ruins all like time? Like it's hard to even remember. Today is our 1 year anniversary of having Buffy. Actually, I
Then
didn't realize that. Yeah, so I've had
yeah.
her for a whole year, which is crazy. And she was 6 weeks old when we got her.
Uh,
From
I don't think you had her because I think our interview with you was, gosh, I want to say definitely it was over a year ago.
it was over a year ago. Do you feel like time is not the same since COVID happened?
No, no, I don't feel like it is. It's
I'm
totally
always
it's
like, when
weird.
when were things normal? And I mean, things have changed so much so quickly.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. There's some things that I'm like, okay, it's never going back to that
No.
again.
No.
It really,
No, we're you mentioned politics, but I'll be so let's talk a little bit. We'll chop it up a little bit.
sure.
I definitely feel this country sliding backwards.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
we're a
I
mess.
feel all those truck drivers that are out there driving around yelling about freedom, and yet they have no concept of what they were talking about. You're talking about freedom. You're talking about women are having their rights taken away. We're all
I
having
think
our
the
rights.
truck drivers are kind of on the same side of that. Like
They are.
I'm
They
for the
are.
truck drivers. Like I actually don't understand why people were so upset at them for protesting. I'm like,
Well, because
we're
I'll
supposed
tell
to
you,
be supportive of all protests. So if
I,
Black
I,
Lives Matter,
I,
then you can trucks. Like we all have to let people, you know, we have to let people still. I believe in. I am. Look, I would call myself a moderate liberal, but I think that we're kind of in a weird place where like you can't say about women, transsexuals and women's sports because then it makes you sound like you're phobic. And but then everything's like a very complex issue. I don't
yeah,
know.
I just feel like I look over there and I see our voting rights are being suppressed, through red zoning, gerrymandering. You see censorship everywhere, here on this platform. You see it. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a stand-up comedian, and I asked him point blank. I said, do you feel like comedians, comics, or whatnot? Do you feel like they're being censored? I mean, you saw the attacks on Dave Chappelle. I just read, and now and our school teachers are not allowed to teach, our history, U.S. history. They're not allowed to teach about slavery, or the roles in the states in it.
I don't know
Um,
that. I don't know. We probably are on opposite sides, which is okay. I
oh
don't
no, I'm a
know.
centrist. I'm
I
a
don't
centrist.
know. I feel like I don't remember a time when I wasn't. I mean, I was in a school where I was the minority anyway, but so I grew up in Anaheim, so it was mostly Mexican and black. But um, I don't know if I don't know if it's a great thing to like we've been teaching slavery for like they're not taking it out of the schools. Like
They
critical
are in some
race
states.
theory is a little. It's like I don't know if we should teach everyone that everyone's inherently racist. I don't know if that's.
No, I don't agree with that.
It's,
Of course, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I agree with you on that. But some of the southern states, they have made it illegal for teachers to talk. They can lose their jobs and be arrested. Texas has removed over 150 books from library shelves, and because they're censoring them, they're taking them off, and they're not bad books, Sadie. They're just regular books. It's just they don't like the subject matter, so they pulled 150 books from the library. What have you ever heard? I mean, I have never heard of that kind of censorship in this country.
I don't know. When I was a kid, they were censoring Harry Potter. Sorry about my dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
How about a stories to tell in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, there's always been that. I mean, they censored Dr. Seuss this year for being
Yeah,
racist. It's like, but some of the school, like my son was at school with a book that was about, he went to school in Manhattan Beach and there was a lot of, pedophile in the book. It was like an older man with a younger boy relationship. And like, I saw the book. It was a required reading, and I was surprised by that. Like I was,
Oh, I was really.
I'm like this. It's LAUSD, right? So I live in Los Angeles Union School District, and as a mom, and I have to say that we rank as some of the lowest in California in reading, math, like the lowest rate. So I'm kind of like, why don't our teachers stop talking about themselves and just teach the kids, basic reading and math. So we're getting really involved in like all these, debates on what the teachers should teach. But
But
if
you
the
can't.
kids aren't learning, it's like just concentrate on that.
But we can't have censorship on our history. You can't have our censorship on, on like they're not even talking. They're not letting. There's something. They can't even talk about. They can't even talk about certain things like even as late as World War II or civil rights or
That's
stuff like
I
that.
don't know if that's true because
Oh,
that's in our textbooks, and like I've
yeah,
never. I think that's not accurate. I think that we're getting a lot of like extremes, but I that's not.
it's not nationwide, Sadie. It's mostly in the South. So California is more liberal, so to speak. So you might not see it so fast.
I mean,
But
I
in
have
the southern states,
family.
they are seeing it in the
I have
southern
family.
states.
I think I don't know. I don't know if that's what's going on. I think that we're getting a lot of fear mongering. You have people who are, who say they're against censorship, and then I mean, I don't think that. I think that we need to concentrate on just teaching our kids the
I don't believe in censorship
political
on an
agenda.
entry level. I mean, I don't. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, it's sort of funny. It's like, we talked to a lot of horror folks, people in the business and whatnot. And, we're not, like certain things just aren't being done anymore in horror movies because people are being more careful. They're being cautious, I guess, to speak, so to speak, you
Right.
know. What since you've been working the past year now that the pandemic came out, so you started working really busy and what's how are some of the scripts doing? I mean, have you seen any scripts that have just would that raised any hackles along your neck? I mean, like, have you noticed any, because a lot of writers, so,
Right.
and their style. Have you
Um,
seen any of these writers change their style to fit today's film industry?
I mean, honestly, I see a lot of very bad scripts now because of the crowdfunding. I've read a lot of scripts that I just, regardless of what they're about, they're not really. Um, I think that we're losing like a quality of people really caring about telling a good story. I think social media kind of makes everyone feel like, in the horror community of people who are, making films, producing content, they think that they should be filming every month. Like that's not the case even for big actors.
No.
So you have these films that you're like people are they're wanting to do the film more than have a great finished project. So at the end of the day, you're like, why are you doing 12 films a year? Like that's a lot of. How are you able to be the star in 12 films a year and tell that many stories? So I mean, I'm less concerned like about somebody having a political agenda with a horror film. Like I want to say to them, please don't, unless it's a good story, then it doesn't have
Right.
an agenda. It's a good story.
I,
But I just mostly see like scripts that you go, okay, like they're, people are paying for parts, which I think is
yeah,
honestly, it's
yeah.
it's kind of not good for the industry, and it's a bummer because as an actor, like I worked my ass off to be able to be in a film. Like, I didn't even, now kids will come to LA and they want their reel, and they go and they buy a class, and the class puts like a scene on a reel. But like I had to do student films for like several years at UCLA and USC, and to get experience behind the camera or in front of the camera, and to also have my reel. So I think now you have people that feel like they're actors, but they're really like, spending $1,000 for a part. And it's kind of, it's nice because they're supporting that, but now there's so much of it.
Yeah.
It's so extreme, and it ends up not really being that fun, or there's not a lot of talent that goes into it. There's not a lot of skill. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. If that's the kind of films people want to do and they want to watch them, by all means. I just don't think
I don't
that's the thing I've seen.
I don't see the fans really wanting that, nor do
Oh,
the fans want to see the pay to play. I don't. I don't want, just because you put an Indiegogo up there and someone donates $1,500 does not mean they're entitled to come onto the set and take your part that you auditioned for and won. I don't agree with that at all. I won't support a film like that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, and I have friends who did it, and I've done some of those films, as a favor. And I'm always a little bit like, what if if you did 8 of these indie films a year? What if you didn't? What if you said, this year I'm going to do one film and I'm going to do it really well, and I'm going to raise the money like everybody else
mhm.
and do a good film? Because what happens is you have all these lovely people. They really are lovely people who contribute to these Indiegogos. I mean, they come from a really sweet place.
They do.
I want to say to them, like, you do understand that this isn't making a film. This is a bunch of people fooling around with the camera. We're eating, like, this is not how you do a film. You should be telling a story. This is like a fun, silly workshop. Um,
What you should be doing, you should be donating your money from the safety of your living room, right? From the comfort of your living room, and leave and give that $1,000 to them, and keep your ass at home.
Maybe,
Keep your ass at home, and then the most you could ask for maybe is get a signed autograph of the Blu-ray, or get a credit on the screen or
or
whatever.
how about take a great act? Let me tell you, I because of being pregnant, I have a little bit of extra time on my hands. Thank God. I'm taking it easy. And I decided to go back to my theater that I studied with Meisner, at the Victory Theater with Maria Gobetti and Tom Ormany. And so on Monday nights, I take an acting scene study class. Like, acting is an art that you study. It's a real skill. It's a craft. So I think a lot of these people that want to be in the business, or say they love it and they're enamored, they would be so great to go to their local theater and give their money, $200 a month, or $100, or whatever their theater charges, and take a nice acting class and do a play, and fall in love with the craft of it and get better. And I think that that would be a longer term thing than paying $1,500, showing up and working like 5 days, not learning to be a better actor, kind of having a weird, chaotic experience.
Yeah.
No. Does that look that great on social media? No, because you don't really get to brag, and you don't get all the pictures, and your family doesn't go, oh my God, I can't believe you met that actor or that actress. However, inside, it makes you a better performer. It makes you a better person. You're contributing to real art. I think that is something I want to encourage people to like. Things are
I
open
agree.
again,
It frustrates the hell out of me, because it really does. It frustrates the hell out of me when I first heard this. I heard this maybe a couple of months ago, actually. And I heard, I heard the first time I actually heard from it was actually I heard Mikey told me a little bit about it. Not much, but he just he whispered it in my ear. And then later on, I found out more about it, and it just really frustrated me to find out that's what's been going on. When you find out that someone's donating $1,500, they're flying out on set, and then they're taking a part away from a working actor. They're
right?
not an actor. You're not an actor. I mean, I understand that if you want to go out there and get killed by your favorite,
Yeah,
$1,500, you get to go out there and get to have Sadie Katz kill you. All right, that's
But
tight.
that's turning
I don't.
into entire films. So
Right.
that's now. So when it started, I think it was kind of a cool thing, right? So
Yeah.
now it's turned into you have a cast of 40, and you have 5 real actors, and then you have all these other people, and it's true. It's taking parts from people that like that's their livelihood. But it's giving work to the crew. I mean, there's a flip side here. However, I mean, because the film's getting made and it's giving work to other actors. However, I really think it's cheating everyone all the way around. And it's hard for me if I'm I haven't been working, and I hear like I have 5 friends over here who are doing a really fun film, and they're like, just come down, we'll have a fun couple days. And then I come there and I'm like, I'm like, we're not even, this isn't a real film. I'm grateful for work on one hand, but on another hand, it's up to people to say, like, let's not do this. Like, okay, we did this a few times. Let's really, do some quality things, because they're exhausting an industry. It's exhausted. The industry, and what's crazy? These films are getting massive distribution. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard for me to argue if I'm like, well, Lionsgate picked up this film that I know was made for nothing with a bunch of people that paid for their parts that didn't even have a script. And I love the people behind it. It's who's ever watching this who thinks they know the film I'm talking about. You don't know the film I'm talking. It's not the film you think, but because it hasn't come out yet. But it's just one of those things where I'm going, this is a bad precedent. Like, and you know what? Distributors don't care. They just
No,
want
they don't.
a poster and a trailer. And, you don't want to give them these very cheap movies, because then they won't pay for good ones. So
Oh,
you're ruining your own industry.
yeah, I think it's funny. You just said something earlier. I just want to circle back to it because it really is, microcosm what we're talking about. And that is, here you already said, I've done a few movies. I did a few of these as favors.
Well,
And
like,
yet here, and yet here's the person who paid $1,500. They fly out there, they get out there, they get a part that someone else should have gotten. Okay, so now they get a bigger part. Now they still get to eat the craft. They still get the hell, probably at the end of it, they probably making a couple dollars back for their work. And
yeah,
here
they're
you
not.
are,
They're not.
the
They
same
never make
producers.
money.
The,
I
these
mean, they're
producers
giving
come up
me
there.
money. I'm getting paid. So when I say
Okay.
favor, I mean it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not getting paid a ton of money, but I'm definitely making a good
No,
wage.
yeah, okay. Because I would just be that
I
would have
don't
really
want
cost my
to,
cake.
well, that's why I'm saying I don't want to like work's work on some level. So I'm at fault too. I take full responsibility, because I have to be able to say no. And other actors have to say, you know what? No, we're not going to do this,
Right.
and frown upon it. But you have actors like, Danny Trejo, Eric Roberts, Tom Sizemore. You have all these big actors that are doing it now because it's easy money. And at the end of the day, it's hard to get work as an actor. It's hard. It just is. So,
It's
it's
frustrating though.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating because you have a name, you have a reputation. We here in the film, here in the horror community, we know who you are. We know about your work. We know that when you put out a new movie, that we're all probably going to go and grab it if we can find it, and we're
Yeah.
going to be supporting it. So we appreciate the fact of where you've come from. I don't have any respect for anybody who's going to bypass that. I don't want to see somebody who comes in and pays for a part. I don't want to see someone who gets who raises $9,000 on the Indiegogo and turns around and makes 9 movies out of it.
I know. I know. I feel bad. I feel bad because I know a lot of the people who are doing this, and they're very nice. They really are. They're nice people, and they're having a lot of fun. I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of stress and a lot of infighting and things, but at the end of the day, they're also getting to do, these films. But it's the same way I feel about having, Instagram models be actors. It's sort of like you have to respect. I don't go like I'm not a TikToker. It's not my thing. I'm on Instagram, but I'm by no means an Instagram model or anything close to it. I share my life. Um, I just think it's a little bit about like at a certain point, just because we're doing low budget films, like we should still try to have craft involved. Like we should be having more. Like there should be more risk or a lot of going back to what you asked. We should be able to tell more interesting stories because we don't have to deal with the studio. So we should be telling those stories that are like really kind of cool. I had a friend of mine say he just worked on a film about a woman. I forgot what it's called, but it's about a woman who sees a monster and is being harassed by this monster, but no one believes her. And the parallels is to like being raped as a woman. And I was like, clever. That's a great indie film. Like, I can't wait to see it. And he said that she filmed it on. I'm already a super fan. I haven't seen it and I don't know who's in it, but she filmed it on the weekends over several months with some friends who are actors. Like that's something that I'm like, wow, that's inspirational. How cool is that?
Yeah, we've had people on here that they've rolled out their film, and it's taken them 3 years to get it. I reviewed one film that took the filmmaker 5 years to make it. 5 years.
Amazing. Of a horror film?
He raised up a little bit of money, take what it had, shoot it, come back, raise a little bit more, shoot it.
Is it good?
Yeah, actually, it was real good. I
What's
really
the
liked
film
it.
called?
I will. You know what? I'll email you the link to the
Okay.
review. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
Do
that
you remember? Do
idea.
you remember an actor named Bill Grief?
No, I'm
Uh,
so bad with names though, so that
uh,
wouldn't mean anything.
yeah, he was a big star in the '60s and some of the '70s, and it was his last role. But he was really good in it. I'll send it. I'll send you the review when I after the show.
Okay.
Um, so the important thing to you though definitely is the story, right? I mean, that's what's really important.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really in love. Like, I feel like as an actor, and because I came from doing theater years ago, like actors are supposed to tell the director's story. The director is telling the screenwriter's story that they're taking on, and I feel like my favorite thing is when you're watching a movie and you go, "Oh my god, that's so clever!" Like A24 has a new movie coming out called Men, and it's about this woman who I just saw the preview, and I went, "That's genius." The woman's husband killed herself, and she goes to visit, like, to go away and visit a priest to get some consoling, uh, to give some condolence. And the priest is like, well, you need to atone for your sins of what he's a sexist, what made your husband commit suicide. And it's kind of the preview. A24 is amazing though, but the preview was amazing. The trailer, I was like, that's so scary. Don't you let so I mean, that to me, like, what a great story. Like, I mean, when something's like a simple premise that's kind of been turned upside down, it's great. It's
Sure.
I get excited about a new story told in kind of a clever way that you don't expect. Or I mean, I really like practical effects too. I'm not a big CGI person, so
No, no, I don't like CGI. I mean, I do appreciate a good story too.
yeah.
That's I mean, that's what's important. I've asked that question before. It's like, what's most important? The cast, the budget, or the story? And to me, it always should be the story first, because without that, what does it really matter if you put what does it really matter if you spend all that money or hire that actors or those actresses if the story's just not very good?
Right. I
Uh,
mean, sometimes in horror, I don't really want a huge name. Like I'm gonna be, I would say like if you watch Shutter originals, I love Shutter. Shutter has really solid stories. There's the one is The Lie with the young girl who like lies to her parents, or you don't know if she lies or not, about her kid dying or about her friend dying, and like the friend dies and the parents have to cover it up and they keep flipping it. And I'm like, at the end of the movie, I go, oh, that's like a killer story. That's really good. Even if you think of American Horror Stories, the seasons where they told a really cool story, like even the last one, I thought was kind of great as like creative people who were drinking blood in order to stay creative. I mean,
Yeah, this
that's a really fun story.
right, right. I mean, yeah, it's sort of fun to watch a refreshing horror film.
Yeah.
When it comes out with a cool story, like you mentioned A24. Of course, all my friends over here is just I can hear them all laughing. Uh, because I'm an IFC guy myself.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So you're anti A24. It's too weird.
uh, no, I don't think it's weird enough. Have you ever seen
Oh,
any?
interesting.
Have you ever seen any IFC Midnight films?
Oh, IFC Midnight is very weird. Yeah, so A24 is like the artsy, pretentious version. Like,
Yeah,
so you must love the movie Walrus. Is it Walrus?
Tusk.
Tusk. Now that
That movie.
movie is fucking amazing. So good.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely it's definitely out there for sure. It
do
definitely
you
it's
like
way
that?
out there.
Is that like your style of film?
I could go with that, but I'm more supernatural.
Okay.
Like I like some of the movies I liked. I like a Dark Song, The Devil's Doorway, The Devil's Candy, uh,
Oh,
The Human Centipede.
do you want it? I already told you my human centipede story, didn't I?
I don't know if he did or not.
So here's the funniest story. My first film I ever did, a feature film that I was the lead in, was this raunchy comedy called Nipples and Palm Trees. Okay. So we're doing the movie, and there's this very, very funny Asian guy in our film. Oh, hello, kitty. Look at that. It's a
Yeah,
monster. Which
he
you're
is.
like,
He's part cheetah.
oh my God, beautiful. So there's this
That's what Sadie would buy.
there's
Sorry
this,
about that. Sorry.
this funny guy in our movie who we're like, he's such a superstar. He's such a superstar. He's like, I just finished this movie where I was sewn ass to mouth. So we made fun of him so much because he's like, my parents are gonna, I have disrespected my parents. They're gonna be so mad. And he's the comic relief in the movie, in our film, Nipples and Palm Trees. So he talks about this, and we kept calling him ass to mouth because he's like, I just did this really bad horror film. About 3 months after we wrap our film, I'm listening to K Earth, and Aki is on the radio, and he's the guy from Human Centipede.
Right. Wow.
He like blows up, but we made so much fun of him about this movie because it made no. We're like, oh my God, like he must have did that for $5. It ends up being the hugest thing, and like, what did they have? Like 15 spin-offs
It
or
was
something.
crazy. It was crazy. It was like, have you ever seen the movie?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
That's like
great in it. He's
right.
great in our movie. Like it's just hilarious like that happened. And that's like to me like a great indie movie. Like when you do indie movies, it's a kind of a lotto ticket because you're hoping for that Human Centipede or Blair Witch or something that like catches on like that.
So has it been harder for you? So, I mean, to me, I would think that it would be the opposite. Actually, you would think that with a pandemic going on, there would be just a world. There would be just a wealth of new creative ideas coming out. Coming out of the pandemic. Like a lot of people were all locked down.
You
It's
want to
all
see it
stifled.
but here's the thing. Everyone, when it first happened, COVID, everyone was like, let's do a story. Like I had a friend who wanted to do what did like the she wanted to do a story about like a bank heist during COVID or something. I don't know if anyone really wants to see a horror film with COVID involved. Like it's almost like we're still maybe 5 years from now or something, but I don't know if people like we're so burnt out on that. I feel like people want to see like traditional scary films or something like very fantasy driven, like Tusk or, a sci-fi or something, I think that's why you have like Scream come out and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre. People are like wanting to forget the last few years happened. Like even with politics, like with the exception of Purge, I don't want to watch any horror film that has to do with politics. Like it's scary enough. The Purge is great. I'll watch The Purge every year. I love it. But I don't know. I think I want to say that more people are willing to do films independently besides the people that are doing crowdfunding. And that's kind of cool because then that's opening up to different unique voices.
It does seem like lately that horror films, fan made films, I'm not sure if the fan made films fall into the realm of pay to pay companies, but it seems like fan made films now are starting to come into their own more than ever. It used to be like you could never do a fan made film because the studios would be like this, like you can't do that because cease and desist.
What kind of film do you mean? Like which ones are you saying specifically?
Well, I know there's been a couple of Friday the 13th movies. Don't hike in the snow, or don't hike in the don't hike alone in the snow, or something
in the woods.
Right? Yeah, something like
I love those. I love those. I think you're right. There's something kind of fun about them.
We just interviewed an actress who went down to Florida. She's gonna be part of a new Texas Chainsaw movie called The Sawyer Massacre. So I mean, yeah. So
Is that inspired by? Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a prequel.
Oh wow!
I think that's a prequel to the story. What did you think of the new wave of horror films, Sadie, that have come out, mainstream horror like Halloween and Scream? Do you think have you seen those, and do you think they hold up well?
I thought Scream was fun. I think it was nice that it was a fan service film. I like that. I hated, spoiler alert, one of the deaths in that film. I was like, I wish they didn't do that. I didn't find, I mean, God.
Me too.
I'm an adult. So, I mean, the adult in me, my kid, the teenager in me used to think Scream was the scariest movie ever. So I found it a little bit like frivolous popcorn. I really liked Halloween, although it got a little serious, but I like that Jamie Lee Curtis was still in it. That's cool. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I just was like, I don't want a movie to preach to me. I think that there were some scary things, but there were so many, all the scenes were so disjointed. It was like you'd see a scene and you go, yes, that's great. And then the movie would go on. It was like a different movie. And I'm like, what? And having her come back and some of the stuff was like ridiculous. That's what I don't understand. I think maybe the scripts get written. I think Scream was the best of the lot. Scream was the most, but Scream also had the source material of being kind of fun and silly. And they did a good job of mixing their older cast with their younger cast and passing the baton without it feeling disingenuous. I don't mind sequels. I like them. I think there's something fun, obviously. I think there's something fun about revisiting a show that you're familiar with. But they're their own beast. Like they're not really, they're a different kind of film. To me, they're almost like a different genre than like a new film. I mean,
mainstream horror versus independent horror.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get better than. Did you see Dark and the Wicked?
Yes, love that movie.
Shit, you're watching it, and I'm literally like a child going. I'm at the drive-in with Miles, my fiance, and I'm like covering my face, and I'm like, awesome. I can't take it. I'm screaming in the car.
It's awesome.
Is so good, and when you really look at that actress. It's not even that she's screaming or crying. She's like scared, sick.
Yeah.
She's like, and you're watching it, and you're going, She's so brilliant. And there was the other one. What's the Jewish one that he was sitting for?
Oh, the Virgil.
Yes,
Eight Elza IFC.
scary.
Yep.
Like scary. We're driving home because we watched a bunch on the drive-in. We're driving home, and I'm like, that was seriously scary. There was some serious moments of like, it made me feel like I was in the 80s again and watching an actual scary film. Um, so, and then you have The Conjuring, which is always good. Like, some of it has to do with those are real talented actors. So they're telling a good story and.
I think it's so cool. Can I be honest with you? I'll step in for a second and say that I think that is so damn cool. Is when you have a seasoned veteran, someone who's been through the wars, who's a star in their own right, knows a good story, knows what it takes to write a good story, and then sees one and can react react like a fan. I mean, that is that's if I hadn't seen the movie, if I hadn't seen either one of those movies, I would want to. Just
You
solely
have to. I mean, don't you? I just get excited when I see a movie. I have two things that happen. One is I'm watching the movie and I think, oh man, I would have loved to be in that. And then the more I watch it, the more I'm like, I don't know if I could do, like, it's so good. I mean, I'll say the first Quiet Place had me like that, where I went, okay, you're just brilliant. The second one, I was like, we already saw this. This is unnecessary. It's fine. But when you see something like Lamb or The Dark and the Wicked, or, The Visual, or even I have to say, like, Shudder movies to me are so fun. I
Shudder
love
movies.
them.
I tell you what I really love about Shudder movies. It's the same thing I like about Wild Eye movies too. You never know what you're gonna get. I
There's
mean,
always a twist. I
yeah,
love the twist.
you could you're either gonna get a good movie. Like I saw one called Detectives,
Okay.
which I absolutely loved. I thought that movie was
What was it
brilliant.
called?
Detectives.
Oh, Detectives. Okay.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I absolutely adore that movie. It's fun as hell. You got that movie, and then the next one. I think what's the next Shutter one? I saw it in one right after that, and it just didn't blow me away at all. It was just sort of hit and miss. It's like, okay, that's really good, and that's not. Like A24, and I think they're consistently good movies. I think they're just overhyped.
Yeah.
IFC is always consistently brilliant. That everything they release, like 98% of it's brilliant. Dark and the Wicked, another good.
Was that Blumhouse who
I
released?
think I think I think Bloomhouse might have been behind. Might have been behind. I know they were behind Pacino's other movie he did called The Monster, which came out on A24.
I didn't see that.
It was brilliant. Oh my god, that movie.
Was it? And Al Pacino did it?
No, Matt Pacino, the
Oh,
director
I
who
thought you
did.
said Al Pacino. I'm like, how did I not hear this? So Monster. Let me
Yeah,
see that.
that's the movie he directed before he did Dark and the Wicked.
Oh, I'll see that. Did
Yeah,
you
that came out. Yeah, it came out on A24.
did you see which I don't, it's not really a horror film, but it kind of feels like it is, Nick Cage's Pig? I thought,
You know what? I'm trying to find a copy of that. I missed out on it. I was trying to get it, and no, I have not seen it yet. I heard that it's actually brilliant.
it's so brilliant.
I
You're watching it and you're like, what is happening? Why is this movie, like, how did they get this movie made except Nick Cage? But I mean, I get a kick out of movies that excite me because they're unique. Or you're right, like IFC movies. I don't like, it's true. I'll give you this. A24 gets pretty pretentious sometimes. And I also like, I kind of, with my horror films, I also like a little bit of popcorn, which is why I like Shudder. It's like Lifetime, but with an edge. I just want a normal
some of those
story.
Lifetime movies are crazy though.
Yeah, well, I mean, like with a scarier edge. So I'm cheesy and I love, like, I haven't been in a movie like this. It makes me sad I haven't. I love a movie where it's like a rich guy who owns like a bunch of money, and then there's all these strangers who are like, would you rather, or Truth or Dare. I love those kind of, The Box. I like movies that are sort of like where you put yourself in it. And, he's like, for $1 million, you need to chop off the hand of the girl on your left. Because there's always like a fun twist. And it's kind of, the goth girl. They play those stereotypes. There's a girl who's a goth. There's, the guy who's like shallow and terrible. I kind of like popcorn fun movies, little
And you
gore
mentioned
and
awesome. Yeah.
thrillers. Yeah.
Charles is saying X is a great A24 film.
Oh, that just came out too, right?
Yeah, that came out.
I have to see that.
Well, I saw the new ISC film came out called Night Room. So I'm like, what is that? And I'm looking at it. Okay, I know all the actors in it. Anthony LaPaglia. Yeah. So I didn't know anything about it, so I went and looked at it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle that. That might be the first ISC movie I might have to pass on. I thought it's really intense. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely terrifying. Absolutely, there's nothing more terrifying than real life. There really isn't. So, but let me ask you this question, Sadie. How do you naturally, especially now since we're talking about all these uneven film sets, but how do you approach it when you're working with somebody who you really know is a non-actor who's gotten on set because he's made a donation? I mean, how do you approach it? I mean, here you are, you're accomplished actress. Now you're being asked to basically act the scene out with somebody like myself who absolutely knows shit about what I'm doing. So how do you do it without getting frustrated?
I think I would make sure they know their lines. And then honestly, I'm going to tell you like the number one acting trick ever for film acting, especially, is I would say, whatever you do, don't take your eyeballs off my eyeballs. Because what normies, I'm going to call people who are non-actors, they don't really make eye contact. People, by and large in life, don't look, boom, into some eyeballs, like into their pupils, and really see them. So you can get someone to feel something, even if it's just feeling embarrassed, exposed. If you actually get them to be in the room with you. So if you get them to stop, that's the problem with non-actors and even some actors that, they're so in their head about like, oh, I'm going to forget my lines, or I'm not really a professional, or I'm nervous, or I'm too skinny on camera, I'm too fat, or I don't look good, or whatever. And even with even with people that say they're, trained actors or real actors, you just want to get them to be in the scene with you. Even if and you'll notice if you watch TV, a lot of the actors aren't doing much on TV. They just look at each other a lot. They hang on for dear life because like good acting is about the other person. It's not about what you feel. It's what that person feels.
And it's so hard. It's so hard to be able to gauge that. Like you hear the terms a lot, like when I work with Sadie, she's so generous. She gives you so much.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, because honestly, let's just go with that because it's true. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of your peers that, like I said before, there's been movies, like for us as fans, that this is true. You mentioned like Danny Trujillo or Eric Roberts, someone like yourself, someone like Debbie Rochon or Danielle Harris. There are known names. We know what we're going to get. We know we're going to get great performances. Maybe the movie's not so great, but you guys will be great no matter what it is. But you work with your peers to help elevate that movie. But when you don't get to do that, when they don't get to, because I'm sure a lot of people, quite honestly, they would probably be very intimidated. I know I would. Yeah. If I was sitting over there, I'd be excited for one thing. Yeah, I'd be excited. But then you're acting against someone who actually knows what they're doing. They're going to be intimidated like hell. I'm going to sit there and say, this person has 100 credits, or this person has 50 credits. This is an award-winning actor. And it's like, who am I? Why am I here? How do I get out of here? What's on the craft table?
Right. When do we wrap? I mean, it is kind of fun. Like that's the whole thing. I wish that I think if I did it again, I haven't had where I've had like massive scenes with anyone who's not a big actor. Like, they've had a couple lines, but I mean, it is kind of fun if you can get someone to have a real moment of acting with you. Then you do get to like share something with them. It's fun. But I'll tell you, a lot of really veteran actors will come in, and you'll notice they already have their choices made, in acting terms, and you have to kind of work on them sometimes. I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm right here." Like, you don't have to go in your trailer and try to cry. I'll make you cry. Like, that's what I mean. I'll make it. But I'm saying, like, but just let's play pretend. When you're a kid, you play pretend. So I like to, I like to kind of make someone be very intimate with me. Like, I like intimacy, and I don't mean sexually. I mean,
No,
but
of course not.
I like the idea of like, the difference of being like, hey, how are you? And looking at someone and going, yeah, but how are you? Like, how are you really? I mean, people come alive. That's Meisner, but people come alive of when they realize, like, oh shit, she's like really paying attention to me. And we stop doing that. And then we have the mask on. So, I mean, that's kind of to me like a little heartbreaking because people want to be seen. And that's the one thing about acting is if you're with a good scene partner, they see you. And you don't have to do that much.
You know what? Is the Cheetah? He likes stealing scenes from me too.
I,
I know he'll do this like 2 or 3 times. He'll go back and forth and he'll jump down. I don't know. He's just a ham.
I'm staging.
Yeah, he's stealing scene.
I'm so cute.
I'm
Huge.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Uh, so, what are what's some of the projects you've been working on? I looked at your movie database page. There's a lot of good movies out there that you got coming up that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm
Which,
excited too.
which in the woods? Talk to us about 8 Days to Hell. That looks like a lot
Well,
of fun.
that's playing this weekend in North Hollywood. Now,
Yeah,
I have to, and Eric Roberts is in it, and my friend Joanne is in it, who's a great actress. Joanna.
was that Joanna Ray?
Yes, Joanna
Yeah.
Ray. She is so sexy, but she's a really good actress. Who else is in it? I have to tell you, I have a blink and you miss me part. I really I love Shane Woodson, and he asked me to like come in. I'm looking it up because I'm really bad. But he's so lovely, and so I got to do it. But then I'm like, I have to tell people that I'm not in it that much. However, there's a lot of like lovely people in it. That was a film that he worked on for several years. It's playing the 25th to the 31st in Hollywood at Cine Lounge, and it's a horror anthology. And there's, besides Eric Roberts, if you're an Eric Roberts fan, there is Tori London is in it, Dave Castro, like some fun people, Jennifer Day. I'm excited because I haven't seen it. So that's actually out this weekend. I forgot about. Excuse me. And then I have a film I did several years ago that's kind of been stuck in post-production.
No.
That's really good is Sadie Desolation, and it's directed by Jim Towns and starring Jamie Bernadette, and also it has Craig Stark in it, who's from every Tarantino movie you could name. He's always in like, top billing. He's brilliant in it. And Jessica Morris is in it, and she's brilliant.
Oh.
And I mean, it's got a spectacular. Kylie is in it. Fuck is Kai's name? He's dreamy in it. We play cult leaders together. Dominic Swain is in it. There's a lot of really good names in it. And it is one of my favorite films I've ever done. And I've been really sad waiting for it to come out because I think it's exactly what low budget films could be when they're executed really well. Like when I say low budget, I really mean indie.
Now you got a good part in this, right?
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
how do you decide what parts to take? I mean, someone comes up to you and they offer you a chance to work with a small role with someone like a Eric Roberts, or or somebody, a big name actor, or a lead role on a much smaller budget film. I mean, where you're going to be on screen like 70% of the time versus maybe like 10% of the time on the other movie. How do you decide which one to do?
You know what? I'm kind of bad at like it's I do believe like there's no small parts and things like that, but um you know, I really don't. First of all, I'm older. So when someone calls me up, I probably have turned down in the last year like 6, 7 movies because they've called me up and they're like, we want to, we want you to be a cheerleader that we kill. Like, I'm really old. Like, I'm too old to just be that. So why don't you get, like, you're looking for tits and ass. So go get someone in their 20s who, like, I said, I'm not, I like you're using my name, but then I feel foolish because I'm sitting next to a girl in her 20s and I don't want to do it. And it's always like you're trying to be nice, but I don't want to do a movie that's just like, hey, will Sadie show her boobs in this movie and, she can cry and she does a good death scene. Cause I'm like, I don't know if even like someone who's my fan or something even cares. They'll be like, she did that before, and like you're not like giving anything new. I do think it's different, like my friend who directed it, Ronnie, he did Ronnie Lloyd. How do you say his damn last name? It's gonna kill me. I just had lunch with him 2 hours ago.
I,
But he directed Death Club, and I'm only in one scene. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's the best scene. It's such a fun scene. And I go, I don't want to do any cameos. I go, I feel like I'm getting used for my billing. And he goes, well, let me send you it. So he sent it to me and I read it and I went, I'm doing it. Like, that's brilliant. I want to do something that I'm like, okay, I'm going to be able to do something really fun.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I feel bad. I interviewed a gentleman who put out a movie called Triggered. His name is Chris Moore, and one of the people he casted Amanda Weiss from Nightmare on Elm Street, and he said that initially when he wrote the part, he wrote it for two people, and he said it was okay. Her part was okay, but when the other person couldn't do it, he went back, combined the other person's part with Amanda's, and then gave her a substantial part in the movie. And she's a co-star. I mean,
Right.
she has, and I absolutely hate that as not only as a fan, but as someone who's spending money. I hate that shit more. As far as independent films, is my number one complaint, Sadie, is when they use an actor who I know, like like you said, I see you on the box. I don't go like, hell yeah, it's a Sadie Katz movie. I'm all in. And then I get there, and then you're in one scene, and it just burns my ass because I just said, I paid $15 to see Sadie, and all I'm getting is, hi, how are you? You want some coffee? It's just like, wait a minute, that's all I get.
No, and
It's
what?
frustrating.
It's such a bummer when someone offers me that because I want to be flattered, and I get why. They're like, okay, we can't really afford her, so we're going to offer her this kind of money. Like, do you know how I did Bus Party to Hell? Was the Mahals approached my manager at the time, and they wanted me to play the character that
You're a
Tara
badass.
Reid. So they
You're
wanted me to be Tara Reid's part. So they wanted me to come and get ran over by the bus driver. And I read the script and I said, I don't think I'm a very good cameo for that. I said, I think you need someone more famous who is a particular type of actress who people will recognize right away. Because they wanted me to say, like, sorry, did you take a wrong turn? And then the bus driver runs me over. And I'm like, I just don't know if that audience will, if I have enough fans that will be big enough. But I read the bus driver and I'd like to play the bus driver. And they said, well, we can't afford you. We were only going to pay you for one day. So tell you what, I'll take the same pay rate and I want to play this full character because I think I could bring something really fun to her. And I think the script is kind of silly and it's obnoxious and I like it. And so they were surprised and they're like, well, we saw the bus driver, like, this person. I said, no, no, no. Let me show you what I can do. And then, so, I ended up doing it. And then after that, every time I get offered like a cameo, I'm a little disappointed if it's not, I think like, you know, there's nothing for me to do here. And so you're just like paying me to like, here's a couple $1,000s for you to come in for a half a day to put your name on the box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not only do I think that cheats the fans, but it cheats me because I'm the one. I show up and I go, oh, well, all these new actors are having so much fun. I would much rather someone give me a script and say, and it's a really good script and say, we can't really afford this amount, but this is what we're willing to do. Or give me like Death Club, I think is actually a really fun part for me. It's, if you're a fan, then you'll like it because I'm playing something that's really silly. And at least it feels like, okay, she wasn't in the movie that much. However, like that was really fun. And there's something kind of tittillating about that. But
do actors like yourself, do you guys get, can you negotiate a pay, like points off of like if you use my name on the cover, can you get points off that, after, let's say if it sells 10,000 units, can you negotiate after 10,000 units, I now get like a nickel per unit?
Oh my God, I wish you could do that. You negotiate points with, and honestly, I'll tell you, it's really hard to get money on the back end. Like it's a dream to have that happen. It's a dream. And it means that the distributor's been very honest, and it means that your producers have been very honest. But yeah, you typically will get a percentage, like let's say, 2 points, 2%. And that's only after the distributors get their money back and your producers get their money back, the distributors for like, whatever they spend on PR and, on the DVDs and things like that. So it's possible. And that you kind of do that, you do that. It's also, you kind of, you, if you're smart, you negotiate. Like, I think but then you have to realize that a lot of times there's so many actors who are hungry. I hear of actors all the time. I talk to them and I figure out like that they agreed to do a movie for under minimum wage. And, because they are so excited about wanting to post about working. But I think that that's
sort of dilutes the pond a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, when you go out there and if you're that eager to work, right? If you're willing to take below what you're worth, you're let's say your rate's $1,000, right? And that director or producer will pay $1,000, but they turn around and they get an actor to come in and do it for like $500. What happens is like next time someone approaches you, they're not going to offer you that $1,000. They're going to offer you the $500.
And that's what they say. They go, well, so and so will do it. And I mean, it's kind of like, it sounds like, oh, well, why would you get paid that much money? Well, you go, well, because acting is a lot of auditionings and a lot of not getting work. And, you also spend a lot. Like people don't realize how much acting's a small business. So it's not like, oh, I'm only doing something this time. You spend money, even if it's on something as simple as like your hair and tanning and your nails. That's
sure.
Like one whole thing. But you're also like spending it on websites and, casting sites and all things. So yeah, it kind of screws up the, you're like, okay, even like a SAG ultra low budget, Lifetime movies, most of the actors get paid $200 a day. It's a 12-hour day.
That is absolutely insane.
That's a Lifetime movie. And do you know how hard it is to get that movie? It's insane. Like you're auditioning against like 1,000 actresses, 1,000 blondes. And then out of the 1,000, they have, 300 read. And then you have maybe 100 taped auditions. So you're trying to get a part, and then think of all the steps you're doing to get that. And a taped audition, you're setting it up at home, you're doing the lighting, you have to have someone come film it for you and be your reader. And then you get the part, and let's say you fly out to go shoot it, and you're carrying this major story that you're shooting in like 14 days, and you've made 200 plus like 40, plus maybe at $40 for your manager fees. And you go home and you're like, I spent more money. People don't talk about this. I spent more. If you're not able to negotiate, like Lifetime doesn't really negotiate. You walked away and you're like, I did, and especially like per diem and things, I made $2,000 on this movie, but I spent $500 preparing, and then I spent another $500 on going out with the cast afterwards, and then I missed whatever work I could have got that was paying. You're like, okay, I came back and I made $200, and like you're preparing for them. It's kind of crazy, and
I asked that question, and now I'm sort of hearing, this is the first time I've actually heard a really truly honest answer to it, and that is, is streaming good or bad? I mean, is it good for actors or is it bad for actors? I personally, to me, it's because before it, you could read it, you could grab a book or go online, you could read about a movie being made, and you recognize people's names. I'm not saying this. It's probably part of it because I don't have a TV, so that's probably why I'm back in the but I mean, I'll look at some of these people, like in People Magazine or TV Guide, and I don't know them from Adam. I've never heard of their names at all, and I'm going like, I've never heard of these people at all, and I just think a lot of times the actors get a lot of jobs because there's never been more. You would think it would be the reverse. You would think that you'd be making more money now because there's so many animals out there to feed. Disney Plus, Hulu, Apple. I mean, everything has. They all want content. They all are desperate for it. And like you mentioned, Lionsgate in the beginning of our interview, they need content too. That's why some of the movies they pick up, you're going like, Lionsgate's picking that up. I mean, I'm a little surprised, but they need the content. So they'll go there and they'll say, yeah, we'll put that movie up. And and it's, you would think that you'd be making more money, more than less.
Well, I think the thing is, you have a lot of hungry actors. So, even if you're doing a union movie, SAG, has made it easier for everyone to do union for a lower amount, which, even my film, we did non-union for a bunch of reasons, but The Beast Inside, but there was a lot of COVID stuff going on, and it was, and it was a very small production. However, you don't get a lot of protections, and the problem is the barrier right now to do a film is very low because we have all these cameras that are pretty affordable. It's a little bit like the Wild Wild West. It's cool because a lot of, at the end of the day, like, I think it's fun that people get to create and do their dreams, and like, it's, if you can put in to do a film and you finish it, you get it distributed, and even if somebody comes out and says that's the worst film I've ever seen, I should get my life back, like, it's a lot of work. Like, people don't know how much work, and maybe why that film's a mess. Like,
I want to say two words so bad, but I'm not sure if I should because I might get in trouble. But God Almighty, I just, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I just was in a film that was released. I cannot believe it got released, and I found it I did it like 5 years ago. And this director was such a tool, and he cast his girlfriend. The script had some real issues, but he cast his girlfriend who didn't really speak English in the lead. Huh?
Rob Zombie? Oh.
No. I mean, some of these films you're like, how did that even get to be so bad? I mean, some of them are, I feel like, purposely bad, or, no one really cares. They just want to be on set.
Okay, how about this, from one podcaster to another, right? Because you would ask this question. I know you would ask this question because you've asked some saucier questions on Partial
I
News.
do have saucy questions. Yeah.
So who's been the one director that's just like you just shake your head and go like, oh hell no, never again.
A friend of mine. Just hey, Miles. Well, a friend who I did a certain clown movie with. I won't say his name. I it's the first take of the day.
Not that clown movie. I know which one you're talking about. Really?
Yeah, it's the first take of the day, and I just was like, "Hi, babe. Hi, babe." Yeah, and I'm like, okay, he has no idea what he's doing. It's funny because you can know people for years, and then you work with them on set, and you're like, oh, they have literally no idea what they're doing. Is
that where you met Augie?
No, I knew her before. Actually, we wrote that part for her, and she's adorable. I mean, she's like one of my favorite things in that movie because she's so cute.
Yeah, she's darling.
Yeah,
she's darling. Okay.
She's a little whippersnapper. Yeah, that was written for her. So.
Oh my God. Okay, I know who you're talking to, and I got a story. I'll share with you off camera. Yeah. I just wanted to know because there's a lot of directors out there who to me it's just like they just seem to want to just build up credits more than to do quality. Quantity does not equal quality. They just want to run out there, spend that $500, crap that movie together, get at least 70 minutes, 70 minutes of it, so some distributor will take it and we'll put it out because hey, it's 70 minutes, right? And then it's dog meat, and it's just like you wonder about where's the professional pride. I mean, listen, just because you don't have a big budget does not mean that you can't put some pride into your work and do the very best that you can.
Well, I mean, I could name those directors, but a lot of them are actually nice. I think I don't know if they actually know that they're not talented. I think they're just
now that's a horror film.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I more resent someone who really feels they're a genius, and then you see them and you're like, you've been telling me we've been talking films all this time, and you have no idea. That's kind of where almost my friendship, you have to respect someone you're friends with a little bit. So if all of a sudden you're like, well, that's a damn shame. You have no idea what you're doing at all. That's
yeah. Important. Yeah, it's to me that's where it's like that's where you really want them to go back and do those short films and learn their craft, So like when you do get a feature film, you know what the hell you're doing. I never understand that why directors and actors don't really do that enough. It's like it's okay, and not just don't make one short film, make 5 or 6. Make 5 or 6. Try different genres. Do a horror film.
Or just have a great. Sometimes I'll say to someone, I don't know why you're doing a short. Do a feature because there's so much work, but you do have to have a good team or people that you do have to have some training. People who think that they can go immediately into directing a movie, or even actors, you've never acted, now you're the lead in a film, and you're like,
right,
you ever had an acting class? Did you when I do a film, if it's a bigger film that really means something, like when I just did The Beast Inside, I got some coaching. Did you go and get coached? Did you work on it before? Beyond memorizing it, it's nice to sit with somebody who is an acting coach and go through what's the journey that you're trying to give, especially if you're doing a film that is shot in under 30 days. You got to kind of show up. You don't get a lot of extra chances.
No. I'm looking at The Beast Inside right now, and it has a nice cast. I see there's some familiar names. I see Vernon. We got Vernon Wells in there. and Victoria Demare. I know her. I mean that, and Lorraine Landon.
Yeah,
That's let's talk about that movie since you mentioned it a couple of times, and then I'll think about getting you out of here because I don't want to. After all, you are.
I am with child.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Um,
Lorraine Landon is brilliant. She is, and so is Vernon, and so is Victoria. But you think of Lorraine Landon like from Maniac Cop, and she's sexy. She plays my mother in this. And I think she comes in. There's a scene where, it's the movie is about a woman who is possessed by a demon, and that has already killed her mother, and she needs to exorcise the demon out of her before it passes on to her young son. That's the premise of it. And Lorraine plays my mother. And when I was on set acting with her, she kind of took my breath away a little bit. And I was so like in the scene with her. When I watched the dailies, I couldn't breathe watching her. I was so fascinated. Like, she's so good. She's so chilling. I think people are going to see her and be really surprised because she doesn't normally play this kind of character, and she is really good. And Vernon is really good. And I mean, Victoria's always good in everything she does. I mean, so are they. Um, but I really, Vernon, like, there was a couple scenes because he plays the priest that I reach out to. And the problem is he can't perform the exorcism because he's been defrocked
oh,
because of some accusations with some kids.
okay.
This happens. But he plays this really well. I kind of loved our relationship on camera. I mean, it's not very often too where you get to see a male and female story that's not about a love affair, So there was something like really cool about that. Jim Towns writes these brilliant. He's like a fan of Buffy, so there's a little Buffy in all his
Is it
films.
nice?
I'm a fan of Buffy, so
Is
yeah.
it nice to be cast as just a normal woman instead of being cast as someone who needs to, share, like you said, show your breast or wear clothes clothing, isn't it nice just to play like a mom and wear mom clothes and just getting sort of,
Yeah,
did you enjoy that? Do you find yourself enjoying those roles more and more as you get older?
yeah. I mean, what's funny is there was some nudity in the film, and we ended up, as we were shooting it, we took it out because we realized that the film was more sophisticated than that, and it didn't really need that. And there was something that, it was like I got to really act in this movie and be like, if you really look at the scariest films, you look at The Ring. The Ring isn't about Naomi Watts being hot or,
No.
whether or not you see her boobs, but it's scary because you like her. And, The Conjuring, it's like, it's about these women that like, what's, what's more important than being a mom, and what's a more vulnerable, like the high school hot girls aren't necessarily vulnerable, like, because they haven't lived enough to root for them. You kind of want, like, that's why they were so easily killed off. A mom who's like protecting her kids, you're following, you have, your heart is a little on the, you want them to win. And
Yes.
it's so much more complex because the stakes are higher because they're fighting for something more. So
Right.
more than like not nudity or anything, I think I just appreciated playing something with like higher stakes, like something that was really worth fighting for. And I felt like the message of the film, without putting it down people's throats, was really a lot about that. And like when Jim and I talked about doing a film together, I was like, can we just do like a good story? Like and I hope people like this film. It will be the first film that, people love to write bad reviews, that I'll be reading the reviews and going, Um, people love to write bad. It could be the greatest horror film ever, and you're
Do you read your reviews?
always. I mean, a lot of them I agree with. Some of them, I always will like write thank you if it's on like a YouTube or something, even if they're like, "That's the worst film. I hate Sadie. I hope she dies. I hope I never hear her voice again." I'm like, "Well, thank you for watching. Next time, have a beer first." And a lot of times the people will like call me back or write me back, write me back and say, like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to be funny. I didn't, I actually liked your performance." And I mean, it's the internet. People say funny things. I don't get really, I don't get really upset about a bad review. I mean, if I play an incestuous cannibal, I'm like, you tell me how to play that where that's an you either like the film, like I didn't write it. You either like it or you don't. Like, if you don't like Bus Party to Hell, like
Oh, you're
what
crazy. You don't
part
like
did
that.
you not understand? Like, you knew what you were getting in for.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I did not expect that. That's Bus Party to Hell was a really that was really shocking because before I knew you, I knew Jillian.
Oh, wonderful. She's a
Yeah,
sweetheart. Yeah.
yeah. I think she's still down in Alabama. Last I see, she's still
Oh,
working.
good.
She's still
Oh, good.
working.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, because she said I'm in this movie in Bus Party to Hell. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out and get it. So I did, and I get it, and next thing you know, there she is topless for pretty much the whole damn movie. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you didn't tell me about that. It's like, oh,
It's
I
supposed
didn't.
to be a little less. I mean, like those films, I'm sort of like, I try to just go in, like I have a job, I go in, I do my job, I do it the best I can. And how the film, how they edit it, like that's up to them at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
I kind of don't take, why I don't take it that personal, because I I'm like, oh, well, if someone doesn't like that, they don't like that character in that movie, like that's not me.
no, the
So,
movie's fun.
I mean, I don't have like it's not like I'm like, wow, I'm in a movie that someone took time out of their day to review who lives in, North Carolina. That's
But,
cool. Like
but
I'm flattered by that. I would rather someone watch than not.
yeah, that's the thing that's the risky thing. If That's the risky thing about doing those other movies we talked about earlier. Because here you go. You're doing that. You're stuck in one of those pay to play movies, and it just absolutely sucks. And it gets it gets out, gets distributed all right, but it's you're just watching. You're only watching a very few artists that know what they're doing. The
Yeah.
rest of it really, and then the thing is, so it's like, yeah, you made the movie. Yeah, you got it distributed. But is it really worth it when all you see is just people just crushing it? I mean, you go to it's like nobody, like I look at other people's reviews. I look, I'll look at somebody's reviews to see what they think about movies because, before I do a review myself, I'll go look. I'm not influenced by it, because I watched the movie on my own, and a lot of times my reviews are different from other people's. But I do read them. I do read other people's reviews, and some of
They
them
don't
are
get me that upset though. I mean, they really don't. You know, at the I really don't get upset. Like I'm trying to think if I'm just saying that, I really don't. I feel like I know that I do know a lot of times the directors get very hurt because they've lived with the movie longer. But to remember, I only lived with the movie like prep and then shooting and maybe some pickup days or some ADR. So I'm like, all right, you didn't like 15 days out of my life, or, I get disappointed. Like, I wish a ton of people would have saw Megan and really had fun with it. There's some choices in the edit that I think took away from the movie.
which movie is this?
It's called Megan.
Okay.
And I worked hard on that. I worked in Italy. I think I love Randy Wayne and he's in the movie, and Greg Travis. Um, you always hope that you have a movie that's like a super hit. So I would rather have I'm kind of disappointed I don't have more reviews on that because that means there's not a lot of people seeing it. So I don't really care if it says like 600 people gave it a 1 or a 2. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people who went on IMDb to rate it. I'm more disappointed when no one's seen it.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
Like, oh gosh, I got like 60 people went on IMDb, and 5 of them felt really opinionated to share something. So
No, I'm always shocked when I go on there and I see nobody's reviewed it, or I seen, you have to at least get 10 votes for it to start to register. And I go
oh
on there,
no. So
yeah,
that's more important to me because I'm like, I didn't do the film for no one to see. So I do feel like, I think about like my doc. Like I've had a lot of nice people write me even today, like a lovely letter about why they love the movie. And like that's meaningful. And then I've had some people write mean reviews, and I'm like, that I let go. I'm not committed to either thing because it kind of exists there. It's like out there. There's so many factors. I don't know. Look, when Wrong Turn 6 first came out, the first few months got killed it, got great reviews. People loved it. And then something happened where some reviewers came out and didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, that's the worst one. There's too much sex. And I'm like, there's too much sex in Wrong Turn 6. Like Wrong Turn 5 ends where they're going to rape the girl and she's blind, deaf, and dumb. Like the show is purposely like that, but it kind of became like cool to not like Wrong Turn 6.
it's
And
like
so,
that with horror movies these days. It's like initially, like Halloween Kills came out. Everybody loved it. Everybody was all over its tip. And then slowly but surely, now you see it more and more. People are condemning it. They're not liking it. They're hating on it. Same thing with Scream 5. I mean, initially everybody was on it.
everyone loves Scream 5. You're so right.
Yeah, but now you start pairing, now you start hearing people start nitpicking at it, and they think it's cool to be different, and they nitpick on it, and they'll start they'll start putting bad reviews up because it'll draw views, and it's just like it's not
But
they're not
that's
being.
what it is. The
Yeah,
reviewers. So when Wrong Turn 6 first came out, because I was really watching it because I was excited, I put a lot of whatever I could into it. And so the first reviews on IMDb, if you look at them, if you were
right,
excited,
yeah,
you have to do it. Everyone was like, yes, so cool. Origin story. This is so great. Loved it. The makeup wasn't great on the brothers, like, fair stuff. And then you get the reviewers who go, oh my God, what did my eyes just watch? The worst movie ever. Even like Dead Meat James, he did a review on it where he's like, this is the worst film, the worst acting. And I wrote him on Twitter and I thanked him. I said, I just want to thank you for watching the film. I'm a fan of yours. And he wrote me back and he said, I thought your acting was good. I should have said that. And I was like, no, you don't have to say that. And then he ended up writing a thing on Twitter. It made me go viral for the day. So that was cool. Where he's like, I'm actually sorry. I should have said this. And the actress was nice enough to thank me for the review. But it's not that fun to like, what are you going to watch? A review where someone gives a 5? You want a review where someone hates it or they love it. Is the most amazing thing. And that's,
yeah.
people, they like to hear that, fucking Batman's going to be the worst film in the world. Maybe not this Batman, but the one with Ben Affleck. Like people wanted to hear people hate that movie, which they should.
Yeah, I mean, I've been guilty. I mean, I watched a movie a couple of weeks ago called Pumpkins, and I watched that movie, Sadie, and I'll be honest with you, it was just a shock because there was a lack of craft. It wasn't because the movie. I mean, the movie was bad, but it was bad because there was no there. They didn't see any. There wasn't any love behind it. It was just. It wasn't laid out. It wasn't storyboarded. Editing was bad. The story was next to nothing. And it was just like, you're sitting there, you're watching this and you're going like, there's just that's right, Casey. That's right. Well, there's just nothing there. It was just like, wow, you have all these people coming out there and your story makes zero sense at all. You don't even try to explain it. It's just like, it was frustrating as hell to sit there and try to watch it. And I'm just going like, I made it through, but I was pissed because I'm going like, if you would have just spent just a little bit more effort on it, like instead of maybe having your husband play the killer and you play the you directing and playing the heroine or the anti-hero or whatnot, if you
Right.
actually got an editor out there to put the film together, maybe it wouldn't have been stellar, but I'm not looking for stellar. I'm looking to be entertained. So, put your movie together and let's be entertained. But don't just sit out there and just shoot a bunch of scenes together that have really nothing to do with each other and then expect me to be happy with that and sit there and sit there and recommend it.
Well, like Chainsaw Massacre was the same way, didn't you think? There,
Which one?
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there was like some
Oh,
some parts that were really good, but they were all like, I don't know, they were like six different
disjointed.
movies or something.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, definitely disjointed. Listen, Sadie, you know what? I've kept you way beyond our time. I cannot believe this. You've stayed so long, and I can't. Thank you so much. Thank
Oh,
you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you so
I
much.
don't. Yeah. You know what? We'll do this again.
Yes,
I'll
please.
do. I'll wait till you're 8 months pregnant, then I'll have you come on like Augie did.
I know, please. He's a good sport. I don't know if we'll see.
No,
I'll
I would
roll up,
never. I would not do.
I
I
will
would not
roll up
do.
to the camera and you will pretend that you will say I'll on the condition that you say I'm glowy, even if I'm like,
You always are glowing.
no. But
Yeah.
thank you so much. It was great talking to you. I love talking movies with you. And
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sadie. I really did appreciate your time and for coming out and hanging out with us. I want to thank our chat. Hey, Kevin, how are you, sir? I'd like to thank our chat to come out and supporting this interview. This has been a lovely. I've enjoyed talking to you so much. It's always a treasure, believe me. Um, we will be back on Sunday night here on the channel. We're doing a deep dive on Friday the 13th. So we're going to be talking about the new chapter, the new beginning. And then Monday, I will be here with, I will be here. Oh, sorry. I got to do the calendar real quick. I'll be here with Laura Talayan, who will be talking about her movie called Ditched. Oh, have you seen that yet?
no, I'm going to. Yes.
Wow. That
Sorry, I
thing,
just saw the chat room. Sorry, guys, that I missed your lovely chat. Look at.
hey, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Hi to everyone in the chat. I didn't see anything. I just saw the private chat.
Oh
So
no, we're being raided here. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, you know what? We're gonna hang here for you got a couple of minutes. Everybody's gonna come raid you now. Let me go throw your Instagram page on here.
okay.
Bones, are you still here?
I don't tell them
Yeah,
I love Sex in the City. Yes.
yes. Let me grab your Instagram here. And so hang out with us real quick. I didn't know we were getting raided.
Yeah, it's Sadie Katz at SADIEKTZ
Right.
Instagram. So yes,
Yeah, this would
I
be
have
great.
to pop off because I have to pee, but
Oh,
I wanted to thank all your listeners for being on with us live. That's rad.
no, that's no problem, Sadie. I appreciate it. Hold on here, one quick to everybody who's coming in for the raid. Here's where how you can reach Sadie. Get her on our Instagram page right here. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you on Sunday. Sunday at 9 o'clock here on this channel for a new beginning with Friday the 13th. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Kevin, for the raid. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, all right. I think I'm still here, right? Yeah, I'm still here. All right. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Lori. Hi, Mr. Bubble. Mr. Bubbles? Mr. Bubbles? Hey, Motion, how are you? Wow, Kevin, thanks so much. Don't forget to hit the sub button. That's what's really help. That would be really helpful if you guys could hit the sub button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below. That would be awesome. I will hang out for a few minutes and talk to you guys. Yeah, I will. I definitely will. I'll definitely entertain you guys because you know what I got. I got a calendar. So let's talk calendar. Emotion. You and I need to talk. Pete, you and I need to talk too. I'm glad you guys came in. I'm gonna find you guys. We're gonna talk. Wow. Thanks. Wow, I did not expect this. Thank you so much, Kevin. Um, so tomorrow night, let's see, Sunday night we'll be here on my channel for the Midnight Society. Me and Al Lucard will be here. We'll be talking Friday the 13th, a new beginning. Mentioned Monday, Tuesday. I will be joined by I'll be joined by Karen from Ocean Chick Films, and she'll be here with me on Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern time. 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be talking to Kelly Goody, and then at 8 o'clock on Tuesday the 29th, we'll be talking back. We'll be talking with Monique Candelaria, actress Monique Candelaria. On Wednesday the 30th, we'll be talking to actress Nicole Vegas. Next Thursday, photographer, actress Holly Lynch. And then in April, I'll give off a couple of weeks in April. Ta-da! Oh, thank you. Yes, thumbs up. Thank you, Yarn Barf. Hi, Eerie Frog. How are you? I don't think I've met you before. See, Queen's Life. Hi, Queen's Life. How are you? Yep. Oh, I know Caballero Gaming. Yes. How are you? Wow, this is awesome. I hope you guys had a good time over at Tuber Chat today, making new friends and family. Hi, Allie. Hi, Eternity. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow, this is hi outgoing Azzy. How are you? Feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm only 25 away from 600. Only 25 away, so not that far. Lori's Tech Time. Greetings, greetings. Hopefully, you guys are all gonna have a good weekend. Does anybody have any plans for the weekend? Yeah. Please, thank you so much. Yeah, share us out if you can. I will be doing the same on my tab. I do share out on my tab. I gotta come over and rate your page myself, Allie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aziz. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Kevin. That's the one thing I forgot to do today. I forgot to share on Reddit. Eternity Luck Scratcher. Are you a scratching channel too? Like Pete? Where'd Pete go? Pete already left? Oh, one of the best, Kevin. One of the best. Sadie Katz is a really she's a big star in the horror community. She's as far as the horror films go, she does a lot of really fun independent horror films. So, and she's awesome. I was only supposed to have her for an hour, but she hung out and stayed with us way beyond that. Oh, there's Pete. Yeah, this is wow. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'll hang out here for as long as you guys want me to. That'll help me get my views up for this interview. I really do appreciate it. And by all means, let me know when the next raid is. I'll be able to come over and raid tomorrow. Does anybody have any favorite horror movies? What's everybody's favorite horror movie? Or basically, what's your favorite type of movie in general? Okay, Eternity says Jason. Good, that's good. Eternity. We are doing a deep dive into Friday the 13th series. We have already reviewed. We've already talked about the first four movies, and we're going into number 5 this Sunday. I have a playlist in my playlist called Midnight Society, and you can find our Friday the 13th reviews there. Lori's mentioning The Stand. Was that the first one or the second one, Lori? I love Stephen King movies. Yep, I love Stephen King's movie too, Star Lord. Except for The Shining, I don't like The Shining. The Shining is not my favorite, but I do like Stephen King movies. I have not seen the second one yet, Lori. I have seen the first one. I own the copy of the first one, but I have not seen the second one. Uh, yeah. For no. Oh, yeah. The Shawshank Redemption is amazing. Nicholas Sparks. All right. He wrote the Notebook, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which I have. I'm gonna show you a movie you guys can all go get, and I highly recommend that you do. So if you're out and about and you're going to different stores or online or whatnot, I highly recommend that you guys go get this. It's a movie called Swallow, and this stars Haley Bennett. Highly recommend it. Yes, I have the. I can show you some films. Sure, hold on. All right. Okay, some of you guys know, some of the people in the chat there, like they know my favorite movies are from a film company called IFC. ISC films, ISC and ISC Midnight. So I collect those movies. I have 232 of their movies, and I'll show you a couple of them here. So I'm gonna have people you won't expect to see, and this is Mary Magdalene. This had Joaquin Phoenix. Oops, Joaquin Phoenix in it, and uh, Rooney Mara. And this is actually this is a family friendly movie. Uh, it's Dove approved. And then we have Donnybrook. Oops. So this is a fight scene. This is like a it's an action adventure. Let's see. We got this the disappeared. Now IFC puts out two types of movies. Yeah, yeah. And see, I am a very big IFC fan. Let's see. We have The Last Winter. Very good movie. Very good movie. We have Prey. This is IC Midnight. This one's a little bit gory. So this is like rated R for sure. Hey Jaden, how are you, sir? Have not seen you in a while. This is a fun one right here. This has a lot of good people in it, including Alan Ruck and Ashley Bell, and that's called Carnage Park. Carnage Park. And like I said, they have family movies as well. They have Last Winter was good, Kal-El. That was a good one. I don't know. There's no bad ones. You got this confused with X. Next we have Liam Neeson in Made in Italy, and this is Liam Neeson right here, and this is his real life son, Michael. So Michael made a movie with his father. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, Azzy. They're a lot of fun, and there's a they have a lot of different directions they go. Um, got The Wretched. This is very good as well. Highly recommend The Wretched. I like some A24s, but no one's asking about A24 films. They asked me to show off they asked me to show off my ISE collection. This is a three piece. This is a three-piece movie right here. This was released in three, and it's called Red Riding, and it takes place during different types of years. Some police officers are trying to hunt a serial killer. Let's see. What else I got here? They also do documentaries. You might not know this. They run them underneath what they call the Sundance Selects, and that's their documentaries. And I picked this up, Pick of the Litter. So this is about dogs. The dogs that go and get trained to become service dogs. Yeah, you'll see A24 put anything like that on there. Let's see what else we got here. We got a few more here I can show you. Uh, Here's a movie that we'll be talking about whenever Night Watch can get a hold of a day off. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but if you go on my playlist, there's a list called ISC Midnight Nights. ISC Midnight Nights, and that is me and the Night Watch Zone, Coriander, and Ben from Cadaver Club. You'll see their names inside the playlist, and we are supposed to be talking about this movie this month. This is Relic. So this could be a tough watch for people. Just letting you know, it's an allegory film, and it's a tough subject matter, but it's excellent. Better than X. Let's see. And they have some fun creature features too. There's a lot of fun creature features. Like grabbers. This is ISC Midnight, and this is a lot of fun right here. This is a creature feature. You can't take it too seriously. It's fun. And then we have another one called Almost Human. So they have a lot of great films. You can get them online. You can get them on eBay or Amazon. Just type in ISC, just IFC, and then ISC Midnights. ISC Midnight, and they'll bring up a lot of the movies. You can take a look at them and let's see. I got a couple more here. They do dramas. They do dramas as well. This is another ISC movie, and this is called Save the Date. This is a romantic drama right here. Save the Date. No, Pumpkins is not ISC. Pumpkins is A24. No, it's actually called Uncorked. Horrible. Oh, no, not Uncorked. I'm sorry. It's High Octane. Let's see. We have Radio Flash. This is science fiction. This is the dystopian movie right here. This starred Dominic Monaghan from Lord of the Rings and Will Patton from Remember the Titans, Swamp Thing. Good movie. Let's see. The Clouds of Sil Maria. This has Kristen Stewart in it. Some way, somehow, I don't know how this happened. Yeah. Oh, they asked me to. So this has Kristen Stewart in it, and I don't know how or why, but I think I got like 90% of Kristen Stewart's movies. You want to take over? Why did you put these away? No? Okay. So that's just a share. That's just a scratching of the surface. Whoops. With 232 movies, I have a lot more. But um, how many? Do you guys all collect? Do you guys all collect physical media? Do you guys collect TV series or movies? Because I just know these things, Bones. You should know that by now. Yes, she's in this movie here, Allie. She's actually done a few IFC movies. She's actually done a few though. She did Personal Shopper, and she's also done Camp X-Ray for IFC. Yes. No, unfortunately, I don't have any vinyl, Kevin. The only thing I still got left of my music days are I got about 1,200 CDs downstairs in my basement, but I don't have any vinyl. No, I had about maybe like 27-inch records that I got before I moved back. But yes, this is Paladin. This is the Cheetah. This is the Cheetah. This is Have Cheetah Will View, and this is the Cheetah in the Cheetah. How you doing, buddy? So we're do you guys what do you guys buy for media? Do you buy are you guys doing streaming services or do you buy physical media? He's a ham. You're a ham. There's nowhere for you to go here, buddy. But you know you don't drink coffee. You don't drink coffee. So what's everybody doing this weekend? Any plans? I'll be there for tomorrow for thank you, Eternity. Yeah, he's a ham, all right. Did anybody make any new friends and family tonight on Tuber Chat? He actually is. He's 10 years old. I got him when he was about 2, so I've had him for about 8. Oh, he's about 10 and a half now, but he still acts very much like a kitten. Let's see. Casey, you're gonna go see X tomorrow. You know, some of these movies they turn around so fast that I don't even bother now. Let's see, the best place I recommend, there's a lot of different places you could go to. I personally get a lot of my, now that my video store chain is closed, the chain was called Family Video, and that's where I got a lot of my IFC movies from. Uh, Now I pretty much shop at the library. My library has a built-in used bookstore within the library. So within the library, it's open. It's open every day of the week except for Sundays, and they sell books. They sell paperbacks for 50 cents. They sell hardbacks for $1. They sell new hardbacks for $2, and they sell DVDs and Blu-rays for $1 a piece. They also have what they call bag sales, and that is you can go in and pay $6, and you can fill up a bag with however you can take out with whatever you can put in the bag. If you can carry out, you only pay $6 for. So that's generally where I go to. Oh, thank you so much, Allie. Yeah, he still acts very much like a kitten. He runs, he romps, he flops. He does. He's very active. Um, as far as that goes, it all depends what you're looking for. If you're on a budget like I am, you can shop Amazon, you can shop eBay. There's Facebook Marketplace, but if you do Facebook Marketplace, I recommend that you guys meet at the police station to do your transaction, especially if you're selling anything valuable, like if you're selling a phone or a computer or something like that. and you advertise it in marketplace, do not do the deal at the house. Meet the person at the police station. Yeah, they do lend out movies. I mean, our library lends out movies. In fact, a lot of the movies. I don't know if I have any here, but some of the movies they mark them down. They'll play them for a while, and then then they'll rotate them out. Um, and the library is pretty much they pretty much will show just about anything. The only movies I've yet to see them take, obviously, is adult movies. They don't do adult movies, but anything else, foreign movies, from kid movies, documentaries, TV series, and they have a wide array of movies that they rent out. They have thousands, actually. I know it's surprisingly, this is the I think my library is the only one that I've seen that actually will that does this. I mean, people are always saying they're always sitting there going like, your library sells books, and it's like, yeah, don't others, but I guess not. He is a protection paladin. He is a yep. He's not an executioner. Paladin got his name from the old TV series called Have Gun Will Travel. That's where the cheetah got his name from. The word paladin is French for knight's champion, and he knows his name. When I first got him, actually, when I first got him, I almost kept his first name, the name that he had, because most shelters they can't name a dog or a cat to save their lives. Um, but our shelter where I got Paladin at, his name was actually Duncan, and I almost kept it. I almost kept him, but I wanted to have a. I always said that I wanted to have my next cat be named Paladin. So, but I almost kept Duncan for Duncan McLeod, the Highlander. There can be only one, but he got used to being called Paladin really quick. Actually, he responds to both Paladin and Cheetah. No, this is a lot of fun. I didn't know what a raid really looks like. I mean, I've had a raid before, but I mean they just flew in and flew out. They were here for a minute and then they bailed. So this is the first time I ever had a first time I've ever had a raid stay. So I'll tell you a little bit about my channel. My channel is mostly a film review channel, and of course the interviews that you see here, like tonight with Sadie Katz. I have a playlist inside, 8 questions with, and you guys are more than free to go ahead and if you guys want to swap playlists, you can contact me on Instagram. Have Cheetah will view, and I'll be more than happy to swap playlists with anybody. Pete knows I've actually swapped playlists with him before. But now I got to go back and grab all these playlists because I found out how I think YouTube has changed the way they do it now. Um, I was under the impression that you could watch somebody's playlist up to 4 times, and then they would quit counting your views. But I guess now it's you could watch a video 1 time every 24 hours, and it will count toward a view. So I did not know that. So when someone comes in and follows your playlist, they can follow it once, then wait a couple of weeks and follow it again and get you watch hours. Thank you, Jamie. I hope you're having a great night, Jamie. You seem to be feeling a little bit better. I'm glad to see that. Uh, Mr. Bones, if you're here, could you come in and drop your channel link inside the chat? Uh, yep. And let me grab some of my folks here. Like Jamie and Mr. Bones here. All right, here is Jamie's link right here. If you guys want to, if you want to meet, if you like to meet Jamie and give her a banana. Let's see, Casey. Let's drop Casey in here. Okay, here's Casey right here. If you haven't connected with some of the folks I'm dropping down here, please consider doing so. They're really nice. They're really nice people. Hey, Classy. I've been to your channel recently. Fun channel. Classy Cookery is a fun channel. Let's see. Where is Star Lord? Let's go grab Star Lord here. I hope that shows up. Ooh, I knew it was gonna be tough. Uh, hmm. Uh, let's see. Hold on here. Let me see if I can. Star Lord, what's on your channel? What's on your channel? Yes, there shall only be one. I'm gonna grab Mr. Bones here. Mr. Bones should already drop his channel link, but I'll do that. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, drop bananas. Let me drop Mr. Bones. I'm sure everybody's on Mr. Bones, but I'm gonna drop it anyway because I could be wrong. All right. See, I'm using a tip that Kevin taught us, and that is you can find someone's name. If it's a hard name to find, you can still find it if you know one of their activities. So here is Mr. Bones' channel. If you haven't connected with Mr. Bones, please do so. Oh, that's right. Yes, you were. That's right. Tonight you're supposed to be there. Thank you so much, Classy. I appreciate it. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, just go a little slow this week, Jamie. I'm sure they're glad to see you though in the chat. I know Doomsday was dropping an interview tonight too. I don't know if he's here or not. Let's see. Is there anybody else I missed here? Is there anybody else in my group I missed? Oh, let me. Yeah. Oh, let me. Yeah, you guys all got Jamie's Instagram, so please give Sadie a follow on Instagram. She's a very, very delightful person. Let's see, who else do I got? Charles was here, right? Charles was here. Thank you so much. Let me grab Charles Cochran. He's a really nice guy as well. Oh, Kalel too. Let me grab Kalel. Holy cow, gotta forget him. Okay. Okay, here's our friend Kalel Daly. He comes over and supports us, and he's also on the Midnight Hour, on the Midnight Society as well. So here's Kalel's channel right here. And let me drop Charles. Charles was here watching the show, as was Steven. Let's see. All right. Got to show the love for everybody, right? Oh, good. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave the good comments. Thank you so much, Eternity. I will come looking for you. I'll be coming over and subbing, throwing you a banana. I promise. Anybody that who I'm not connected with, I will connect with you by the end of tomorrow, if not tonight. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate this. This means a lot to me. Thank you again, Kevin. Thank you guys so much. These are all good people. All good people. They have a lot of interesting content. Mr. Bubble, yes, I will find you. You have a very unusual name, so you won't be hard to find. You're spilling. Yep, I'll be able to find you. All right. I'm gonna have to take the same. I'm gonna have to take the same excuse that Miss Sadie did, and I'm gonna have to go because I too got to go to the bathroom. That's what happens when you had to drink coffee and interview somebody for 2.5 hours. Uh, um, I will see a lot of you, if not all of you, tomorrow during Tuber Chat. Kevin, what time's the show tomorrow? Thank you so much, Allie. You tell them the Cheetah sent you. Kevin, if you're still in the chat, what time is Tuber Chat tomorrow? Oh, me too, Star Lord. Me too. Coffee is our friend. I think Kevin might. I'm not sure if Kevin's still here or not, but if he's gone, no, he's still here. Let's see. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys all tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much. I hope that I hope we have a raid tomorrow. I'll partake of it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. If you guys are, you have to sub to us. If you guys want to come out, I'll be, like I said, I mean, we're doing Friday the 13th on Sunday night. And then I got my last week of Women in Horror Week all next week. And and killer donuts, Jamie. Killer donuts. All right. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Have a great night.